Hi there, it's August the 5th and we're continuing our progress through Paul's letter to Corinthians, the first letter to the Corinthians, and we're reading from chapter 1 verse 18 through to chapter 2 and verse 5. So Paul has been taking the Corinthians to task over their divisions around the celebrities, around theological positions if you like, and he's actually saying, look, God isn't interested in the wisdom, in clever words. Actually, what God is presenting seems utter foolishness. He's saying that he is presenting the crucifixion of Jesus. Here is Jesus, the Messiah of God, crucified on a cross. He says for the Jew this is a scandal, because obviously the one who dies on a cross, who dies on a tree, is cursed, and to the Greek it's foolishness, because how can anyone win a victory by dying on a cross? But to those who trust in God, to those who know the insight into God's wisdom, this is the power. The cross is the power of God and the wisdom of God. Jesus Messiah, the power of God and the wisdom of God. You see, men's wisdom, particularly the wisdom of the Greeks, because Paul is writing here to a Greek city, the wisdom of the Greeks, the Greek word is Sophia. Sophia was about a whole collection of facts, a whole collection of knowledge. And if you got this knowledge, if you got these facts, then you had wisdom. But Paul's understanding of wisdom, the Hebrew understanding of wisdom, is much more about action. It's much more about how it affects our lives, the outworking of those things. And Paul says that God's wisdom is way above the wisdom of men, that we cannot grasp it. It's not about clever words. It's actually about God's showing forth the power of God through a simple thing like Jesus. In fact, he says, when God chose you, not many of you were clever. Not many of you were noble. There's not a lot of clever people among the people that Paul is writing to, but they have been shown the mercy and the grace of God, not through their own effort, but through the call of God. Paul, of course, says himself that when he came to them, at the beginning of chapter 2, he says when he came to them, he didn't come with rhetoric, he didn't come with great public speaking. He actually says he came in fear, he came in trembling. He wasn't the most powerful presenter in that sense, but actually it's the power of God that has made perfect his weakness. His speech, his proclamation, he says, was not in persuasive words of human Sophia, of human wisdom, but in proof through his actions, through God stepping in power by the Holy Spirit, so that people may not be believing in the power of human words, but in the power of God's words. It's so easy, isn't it, to get caught up with the cleverness of human understanding. It's so easy to get caught up in theological discussion and argument, when in fact what Paul says here is the simple truth is this: Jesus crucified on the cross, Jesus risen from the dead. This is the nub of our faith. This is what holds us together. This is the, to use a Latin phrase, sine qua non. Without this, nothing of the good news. And it's a thing that we need to constantly hold on, to constantly present again and again, in case we complicate the faith, the simple faith in the cross and the resurrection of Jesus. Have a very good August the 5th.